Yo, what is good, my anime faithful? What is good, yo? So, you know, like, I did anyone expect this show to be like this? I mean, that hasn't known about it or anything about like that, like or read about it and stuff. What the heck is going on, man? We literally have our main character now raising his daughter, who is practically growing up and catching him in age, which I would actually be crazy to think now that the timelines and all the stuff that's been happening is very, very skewed, like by a crap ton, because it feels almost as if the daughter was the one we met on our side when uh Yuno was still, figuring out, or when our main character was figuring out everything that was actually going on in general, and not only that, picking apart, the messages and stuff like that that his father had left behind. So not only was he working on that, we were kind of just left to believe that once he figures all of it out, it's going to be easy, simple, fix, and we're going to be done with the show. No, of course not. It's never a simple fix, man. This man has now started up a family with somebody who he pretty much met not long after coming here, and literally trying to give her water, and that turning into pretty much their way of connecting, or getting closer with each other. And I think just her being able to like transfer her voice through to him was a good sign of like this is what she was here or like sent out for or something. I don't know. It was cool. And then next thing you know, they have a kid. And like not only did this kid come relatively fast, I mean, I think a year went by, and then around 3 months, this girl was already like full on talking and like running and stuff like that. So they are nowhere near the same as us in the grand scheme of how quickly they age. So it's only to be said how old, or maybe if the human DNA and the elf DNA mix, it's like that, or maybe this is just an elf trait in general. Um, we don't know, but if she is growing up and she becomes 16 like within before like a year pretty much, right? Um, how old does that mean the mom is? That was my first thought process all of a sudden when we were seeing just how quickly she was growing up, and then boom, I was like, wait, then how old is this? Like his actual girl then? And it kind of came clear to me when she seemed like she was doing less and less. Like she wasn't just doing activities around the house anymore. She was just chilling nonetheless. She wasn't really doing much at all, and that goes to show you probably how old the other elf woman who was protecting the borders this whole time. So it's a very interesting like age progression in this world, or maybe time just goes so differently here that's why she grows up so fast. And the only reason why I didn't say that is because why hasn't our main guy grown up as fast as her? Like why hasn't he gotten taller or grown facial hair? The stuff like that that kind of gives you an indicator that you're growing. And as someone like him, and there's no other like real men being around, and it's just him. I guess he still might not really care for facial hair, but facial hair makes you look older. So it's usually one of the tropes that they use in anime and just shows in general. Like his hair was much longer. He had like in a ponytail or at one point or something. So like that was a thing, but a year would do that. Like a year, and somehow he must have found out how to shave his face or something. He should have some peach fuzz. um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm really interested in just how they transition so hard away from our world to this world seamlessly. Like you're pretty much, it felt like we've been here this whole time or something, and the ending is something we need to talk about, but with what's going on in this other world, it's weird that he hasn't asked, like, why wouldn't you follow up on questions with her and anything she has known or went through at the Imperial City? And I guess it would be understandable if he thought it was like painful to her and stuff like that. Like, I get that. But once you kind of start remembering that he has people back where he needs to go to help them, literally someone was dying on the ground and he left her to try to find this certain stone to bring back to help her. And this man has now started a full family and still chilling, talking about some, oh, there's humans. I haven't seen those guys in a long time. Like, you haven't seen your friends in even longer, buddy. So it's crazy to me how much is going on within this show and how little he can do about it. There's nothing seemingly he can do about what's transpiring, and that's the kind of crazy thing we get with this show is why isn't he able to get through the desert? Like, why is the desert so massive? And I'm pretty sure it's safe to say there's some type of barrier or some type of way that they're stopping anybody or anything reaching in the place, but they can get out. That's about the only difference. Is it looks like it's not hard to get out of there in the case of having wings, but yeah, if you ain't got wings, you ain't getting out. So get you some wings and you'll be fine. But from what we can tell, all of the monsters that have been either sent or seemingly escaped are all terrified of this place or have some knowledge of the Imperial City. So I don't know. It's becoming one of these things now where they're like, oh, it's just getting like recycled. Like, oh, the Imperial City, the Imperial City, the Imperial City, and then finally the Imperial City comes into his house holding down his wife, and for some reason they need to hold her down in the most like sexual way possible. So we're stuck with an image of one guy just standing there not doing anything in the background, one other guy behind her holding both of her arms, and another guy helping hold the legs open. Like, why is this happening? And then all of a sudden he shows up and he yells out at her pretty much to tell her, like, get out of here, or like, like, what the heck's going on pretty much. And they're like, oh, it was a man. So it's almost as if they were trying to save her for whatever the guy who's in the chair needed or something. Maybe he was whoever had the next child with her, it was going to be important, and that's why she was raised like so quickly or something. I don't know. But it seemed like once she put her head on her daughter's head, she had a good feeling that maybe something was coming up or awry because of the way her daughter was acting, and then drops the subject. I hate when people drop the subject. If you look that disappointed and that worked up over something, just spit it out or I'll come over there and chop you in the neck. I don't know. It was obvious that maybe she heard something from her mother that, might have been good to tell your dad to help out in this situation, but the world shall never know. So that sucked, but other than that, the episode was pretty crazy. Seeing him, not only have to take care of his daughter and then fight somebody that's just trying to protect their child to then end up adopting them is a pretty messed up way to, continue to live this life here. So not only is he dealing with this stuff, he's going through it, man. And I feel for him, but at the same time, whatever is about to happen next week with him coming into the house and seeing this, I think he might have just got his free ride into the Imperial City if he's smart enough or strong enough, I should say, to show up some of these guys who just showed up at his house. So he has like 3 rides that supposedly can make it through the desert that we've seen. But is it them making through the desert, or is it some barrier that's up that gets dropped, or something like that along those lines? Because there's no way he's gone through the desert this many times and hasn't seen any sign of civilization. including seeing how big the civilization was when we actually saw it for the first time. So very interested to see what they actually do with that, and if it is as crazy as it looks, or there's a whole bunch of crazy stuff going on there that we believe. But with that being said, my anime people, I hope you guys have an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case may be. I'm your boy, the Anime G, and I'll definitely talk to you guys in another daily video tomorrow at least, or maybe if something comes out, I might drop it. I don't think anything else is gonna surprise me today, but there is a show I started watching a little bit of, and I think I'll drop it on Thursday. Yeah, because I still got to watch more of it. So yeah, there might be a third show coming out on Thursdays to make Thursdays kind of even more impactful. Because Thursday's really my chill day, and I want to add a little spice to it. So with all that being said, I hope you look forward to that, and I will talk to you in the next one. Peace.